Hello, everyone. Welcome back to OpenLine. We are talking about bullying. We have with us Eve Goldstein. She is a clinical psychologist and founder of the Child Parent Educator Collective, talking all about bullying and really what we're seeing in our classrooms today. A lot of discussion about online activity and that kind of thing, which I appreciate. I think all parents need to hear about that. Reasons for being bullied. These are the reasons, most often reported by students: physical appearance, race, ethnicity, gender, disability, religion, sexual orientation. Is that what you would, that's a list I have here. Do you agree with that list?
I do agree with that list. That's what I often hear, and what I've seen individuals for. And I'll tell you that a lot of times parents come in and are shocked that their child might have made a slur or said something that's kind of antithetical to their family values as well. So why is this happening? A lot of times it could be that they don't even understand or know what they're doing. For example, I've seen on the playground individuals make teams based on who celebrates what holiday. And while that was just a way for them to organize people, the children didn't necessarily understand that that was a bullying situation. So understanding and teaching children the idea of respect for all, and that, again, that culture of dignity that we were talking about, and responsible decision making, social awareness, relationship skills, all of those things are really important for us to be teaching our children so that they have the life skills to properly interact.
Do kids tell their parents that they're being bullied? How often do kids tell their parents, and would a parent necessarily know it?
Parents do not often know. Sometimes they'll get a glimpse of it. Maybe it was in a carpool that something happened, or maybe they're seeing at home that their child is becoming more depressed, isolated, withdrawn, not having as many social interactions, things like that. And when you start seeing any of those signs of withdrawal, depression, isolation, that's when you really want to not let them just close the door, but you want to go in and have conversations with them and find out, how are things going in school? What's happening socially? Who are they connecting with? And how they're feeling. So that way you can get the right help that they need.
And those can be hard conversations. I mean, I think there are a lot of parents that might think, well, that's the way my kid is all the time, and I just don't know. It's hard sometimes to have those conversations with teenagers. And so how would you recommend approaching that sort of conversation?
Right. So I think when you see a change in behavior as opposed to just that's the way they've always been, that's a time to start looking at what's really happening. Also, I just think in general, having conversations with your child on a regular basis, whether it's making sure that you're having dinner together and conversing about what's going on in their daily lives, and sometimes even that's hard with the busy lives that everybody has, but making a couple of times a week that's a priority of everyone coming together and having more conversations and really hearing what's going on in their lives is very important.
So let's say you have that conversation, you find out, okay, yeah, there's something going on here. There's some bullying, whether it's cyberbullying or whatever, there's bullying. What is the next step? What should a parent do? Take them to a psychologist, because that's hard to get in, or what should a parent do?
It depends where the bullying is occurring and how it's occurring. So sometimes if it's occurring in the school, then I definitely notify the school, and the school will help come up with a plan of action. Whether that's with their school social worker, their school psychologist, or the administration, where that can all be worked out. One of the things that is often a mistake that occurs is that they'll put the child who's being bullied in the same room with the child who's being bullied, who's bullying, and then have them talk it out. That really doesn't empower the child who's being bullied, and it actually creates a lack of safety for them. So instead, interviewing them both separately to really get the understanding of what's going on, and then creating a plan of action would be more appropriate, and making sure that if the person who's being bullied or perceives that they're being bullied needs those communication skills to support standing up, that they know how to do it, and that that's been practiced before you put them in a room together.
Yeah. When is there concern about, parents interfering or fighting battles for kids? Maybe a mom hears that her kid is being bullied, and then she's in that school, and maybe that's the worst possible thing that could happen. I don't know. But when is there a concern about a mom or dad, fighting a battle for a kid, and they shouldn't be doing that?
Right. Ultimately, parents should be communicating what's needed and helping to empower their child to address the situation, as opposed to directly going and calling up the other parent or things like that. Because what we want to do is teach the child the skills that they need to manage the situation. And we want them to ultimately feel in control of their situation.
So this says 49.8%. So let's round that up to 50% of tweens, that's 9 to 12-year-olds, said they experienced bullying at school. So that's a lot.
It is a lot.
50% of. So when does bullying start?
I don't have that information.
That must. So these are tweens. This is 9 to 12-year-olds. So it starts pretty early.
You mean at what age does it?
Yeah, what age do you start?
It can start as early as preschool. I thought you were talking about historically. When did it start? No.
No. But that'd be an interesting question. But I bet as soon as we all started putting kids together, I guess.
It's as soon as we start putting kids together. That's correct.
But I guess what age is? So you're saying as early as preschool?
We even see some of that in preschool, where kids are hitting other kids, and we see it pretty early.
And again, okay, so bullying, you're focused on, we're all very focused on the bully as being, okay, we got to, stop that and that kind of thing. But the bully, I think you said earlier, is also suffering or dealing with something. Is that right? And I guess elaborate on that. What is the bully dealing with often?
So the bully might be dealing with things like wanting to be, included, wanting to have friendships, I even know for my own daughter, when she was it was young. She was like in kindergarten, first, second grade. There was this girl who kept on being really mean to her and calling her names and pinching her and being physical. So we're talking young, and it was just somebody who didn't know how to create friendships. So it wasn't somebody who was a mean-spirited individual. It was just that they didn't have the skills that they needed in order to create what they wanted, which was a connection to others.
That is interesting, yeah. And we can't lose sight of that. All right, that's very interesting. All right, we're going to take a break. We're going to come back, continue our discussion, bullying. and coming at it from all kinds of different angles. There's the number if you want to call, 615-737-PLUS, 615-737-7587. We will take a break. Be back right after this.